Hello there friends, and welcome to another Metroidvania map announcement video. Thanks very much to the generosity of Team Malignant over at Cloverbytes. I was able to play through a complete preview build of GRIME II a couple of weeks before launch. And that brings with it certain caveats, especially if you were around for the launch of GRIME I. You'll know that the first few patches of GRIME I made some alterations to fast travel points and, more importantly for me, the placement of items. So, like with GRIME I am not in any place to claim that this is a 100% map of GRIME II. I know it's not, because there's at least two things that at time of recording this, I don't know where they are. It could be that they weren't in the game when I played through the preview build. It could be that they are in the game and I somehow missed them. I have started scouring every single room, every single wall, and so on and so forth, but that takes time, and GRIME II is a big game. It took me over 40 hours to complete, and that wasn't 100%. Admittedly, it's a Souls-like. I'm not very good at those. Some of the bosses took me dozens of tries, so your mileage will vary. If you are a god gamer and you are just rushing through the bosses and following the critical path, yeah, you could complete the game in way less time than I did. But if you are a more average skilled gamer or lower, like me, yeah, it's probably going to take you a good while to get through. And as you can see just from this very zoomed out view of the map in front of you, it's a substantial game. It's a much bigger game than the first game, and it is, in my opinion, a much better game than the first game. One of the biggest critiques that I recall about the first game was that the platforming felt a little bit tacked on at times and not great. This has some of the best platforming in Metroidvanias, in my opinion. It is up there with Mio and Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Some of the platforming, some of the abilities that you get, some of the things that it asks you to do, some of the finger gymnastics that you have to pull off. Yes, if you like your platforming, this has got something for you. Likewise, if you like your Souls-style combat, there are over a couple of dozen weapons in this game to try your hands at. There is a skill tree for you to pick and choose your points in. There is build variety. You can completely ignore the parry from the first game if you want to, and spec completely into dodge, which is actually what I kind of ended up doing for a good chunk of my playthrough, because I was struggling with the parry at times, and I spec back more into it towards the end game. If you want to specialise more in the new molds mechanic, where you can steal the molds from enemies and learn them, a little bit like a Blue Mage style thing, there are traits in the tree that will help you improve your abilities in combat to do with those as well. It's a very well thought out set of abilities. It's a very innovative approach. One of the things that I complained about in one of the other big sequels recently was that it didn't really do a lot, considering the time spent developing it, to change up the formula. This does quite a lot to shake up the platforming and the combat of the game. Which isn't to say that I don't have problems with it, because I do have some issues with GRIME II. I had one particularly large issue with GRIME II in terms of the controls for some of the more advanced platforming abilities, and I talked about those to the devs, and the devs have fixed them, and it is now working buttery smooth, wonderfully, as I kind of expected it was supposed to work originally. That should all be sorted in the build that you guys are playing right now. Or soon, depending on when this video goes live. It should be after launch. I don't want to put the video up before launch. That would be mean. Anyway. So that's all fixed. There are another couple of issues that I've got with the game, and I don't know whether anything will necessarily be done about them. They didn't ruin the experience for me, but they did add some additional frustrations that I don't think needed to be there. One of them is the fact that the map system is still you run blindly through an area until you find a beacon, or a seal in this case. It's nowhere near as bad as it was in GRIME 1. It doesn't take you very long to find the map unlocks at all, and there are already, I believe, mods out on Nexus Mod that will mean that you don't even have to do that. If you don't like the system at all, you can just ignore it. So you have the option there. It doesn't unlock the map for you, it just means that the map will uncover as you go right from the start, rather than having to find the seal in each area. But my other main gripe with the game was the way damage can sometimes overlap and stack, and I don't know whether the devs are doing anything about this for launch. They are, surprise surprise, quite busy right now. It's the 29th of March as I'm recording this, because I'm trying to get stuff sorted in advance and, you know, be vaguely organised, which for me is a fairly impressive feat. So hopefully something will be done about that, because it was a little bit frustrating when you get hit by two different sources of damage for like 100 health in the space of about 20 frames. My reaction times, they ain't that fast. But I'm old, I'm slow, maybe yours are better. Let's take a look at the map. Let's take a look first of all at the Temple of Hands, because this is where you start the game, and this was the area that was in the demo. One of the things that was shown off in the demo build was the dual layer system, where you move in and out of the background, and a lot of people were like, "Ooh, that's going to cause problems for you, isn't it, Demo?" And I was all like, well, having seen the map when people were talking to me about it, it's like, I can't really say anything. But did it cause issues? No, because it's not actually used all that much. It's kind of cool when it is used, but it doesn't in any real way change what I had to do for the map. There are a couple of places where I moved specific things around to fit the dual layer thing in. There's one place where I couldn't really fit it right down where it needs to be, so it's kind of floating up there, and the same for down here. That probably needs linking up to make it clear. I'll do that before launch. But yeah, realistically, the dual layer system didn't add a huge amount of complexity to what I was doing, but it does add a nice degree of complexity, in a sense, to the world. Hopefully the way I've combined things will make sense. So, as you might expect, this is 100% size. This is the size that I made the map at. As of right now, this has got all of the bosses on, all of the metroidvania powers, all of the surrogates, all of the seals, all of the weapons that you can find, all of the armor sets that you can find. It's got all of the breath crowns that you can unlock. You'll find out what those are as you play. It has got, as far as I know, all of the key items on there. It's got a lot of crafting materials. It's got a lot of hunt point enemies. It's got a lot of, as you can probably tell, little icons to represent all manner of things, grapple points and dash barriers and and doors that you have to break through from one direction and so on and so forth. I went a little bit overboard with it, which is probably why it took me 72 hours. 71 and a half hours at this point to get this far. But I really enjoyed mapping it out. So, you know, here's what it is. Shop inventories are on here as well. There are a couple of question marks on here which I'm waiting for answers to or fixes for. There are certain shop inventories that don't have the full values sorted out because I need to farm up some more currency to get those, and that takes time, and it's not my favourite thing in the world to do. But it is a substantial map. I've had a great time putting it together. The game is in a really decent state. There are probably going to be lots of patches for ironing out performance type things and so on and so forth. But the pace of the game is pretty good. I don't recommend playing it all in a very short space of time like I did, because it is a big game. I did start to get a little bit fatigued at one point, especially because I was having some frustrations. But most of that is just me being bad. I didn't really struggle with navigating around. There are plenty of options in terms of which ways you can go. It's not non-linear in the sense that it gives you complete freedom. There are essentially 3 acts that you work your way through. They're pretty well paced, in my opinion. The map's really good. The stuff that you can find feels like it makes a difference. I highly recommend staying on top of both your weapon and gear upgrading, because you can upgrade your armor in this one. Pay attention to the set bonuses. Pay attention to everything, actually, and read the stuff. Pay attention to the tutorials, though you can access the tutorials in the menu as well. There is a return to checkpoint option in the menu as well. The first time I tried it, it didn't work, which was kind of annoying because I was in an area that was actually locked from it, and at the time it wasn't grayed out to show me it wasn't working. It just didn't work, so I didn't use it until 2/3 of the way through the playthrough, when I just randomly tried it again somewhere else and it worked. It's like, oh, you guys won't have an issue with that because that has already been fixed. A lot of the issues that I ran into are fixed already. You know, I've spent over 10 hours now after completing the quote-unquote the game, doing other stuff, testing bits and pieces, trying to find all of the things. And I've been doing that on a build that the dev sent me, which has got some control fixes for issues that I had, and I've had a really good time going around and so on and so forth. I am kind of ready for at least a little bit of a break, so I've been playing another couple of games whilst I wait for the full release. But of course I am going to go through, albeit probably a little bit slowly, and check all of this stuff versus the day one build of the game. There's no point me checking them off now because I don't have the most up-to-date launch day build, but the map will get updated and fixed if there are any major changes. I don't think there are going to be as many significant changes as with GRIME I, just because of how things are set up. But we'll see. I may end up eating my hat for that. But yeah, there we go. GRIME II map. Early access to the map files is available over at mycoffee.com. As per usual, the full map will be going live reasonably soon, I would think, at least within the next couple of weeks. I am going to check through the game again before I put out the free version, because I want it to be in a nice, solid place so that I don't have to keep going back and faffing with it, because updating to 2 separate locations in all of the different resolutions that I put stuff out in, it takes time, and the map is large enough that it takes a good chunk of time to open, to move anything around, and to save in. If you do find anything that I haven't got on the map, let me know, because I want it to be as accurate as I can, but I'm not gonna stress over, oh, I've missed an atrium, currency, cache somewhere, or oh, I've missed some fragments in the corner somewhere. The main items, the powers, the breath crowns, the key items, the molds, the bosses, and so on and so forth, they're all in the right place, unless they do some significant changes to the world before launch. They're not going to do that, probably. Yeah, they're only a small team, so yeah. Let me know how you get on with GRIME II. If you played the first one and it wasn't your cup of tea, but you figured you'd try the second one, again, let me know how you get on with it, because I really struggled with the opening 2-3 hours, you know, getting into the swing of things, and then it kind of clicked for a bit, and then I got that one ability and everything kind of went to hell. And I struggled a good chunk with the platforming for almost the entirety of the rest of the game. And it's so good to know that you guys aren't going to have to put up with that, because that thing has been fixed. Have yourselves a great day, folks. GRIME II is here. My most anticipated Metroidvania of the last 12 plus months. And it fortunately lives up to my expectations. It's got some problems, but let's be honest, so do a lot of the games that I put on my S tier, and that's where GRIME II is sitting. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.